If you want to avoid Alzheimer's, don't do this. That line is sharp on purpose, not because a single action guarantees anything, it doesn't, but because there are everyday habits that quietly nudge your brain's risk in the wrong direction. Today, I'm going to show you 5 of the most common things people do that research links to higher dementia risk, why they seem harmless, and simple, practical swaps you can start this week to shift your trajectory. First, a quick orientation. Alzheimer's and related dementias are complex. They're influenced by genetics, age, and many environmental and lifestyle factors. But we do know that certain pathways, brain blood flow, chronic inflammation, sleep-related clearance of waste, metabolic health, and the resilience we build through social and mental activity play big roles. Think of your brain like a house. Good wiring, clear pipes, and regular maintenance reduce the chance of a big failure. The habits I'll describe damage one or more of those systems slowly over time. The good news is, small, consistent changes restore function and build resilience. Before we jump in, if you want more practical, step-by-step guidance like this, including short movement routines, sleep strategies, and simple cognitive boosts, subscribe. I post new evidence-informed brain health guides every week. 1. Sitting all day, the productive trap. Picture a typical day. You wake up, commute, sit at a desk for 8 hours, sit in the car again, then sit on the couch while scrolling or watching TV. It feels efficient, fewer interruptions, more work done, but prolonged sedentary behavior reduces blood flow throughout the body, including to the brain. Blood carries oxygen and nutrients and helps clear metabolic byproducts. When you sit for long stretches, those delivery and clearance systems slow down. Over weeks and years, this contributes to metabolic dysfunction, worsened blood vessel health, and less frequent microstimulation of neural circuits, all things research links to higher dementia risk. Why it feels fine? Sitting feels comfortable and productive. Many jobs reward uninterrupted sitting. Short bursts of movement can feel like distractions. Companies and routines reinforce the idea that productivity equals long, uninterrupted sitting. What to do instead? Break the sitting pattern. Start with a tiny, measurable change. For 1 week, set a timer for 45-50 minutes and stand or walk for 3 to 5 minutes after each interval. Use a standing meeting, take the long way to the restroom, or do a 1-minute walk around your home between tasks. Aim for purposeful movement that raises your heart rate a little. A 5-minute brisk walk does more for blood flow than a long stretch. Over time, add a 20 to 30-minute walk most days. These shifts improve vascular function, help regulate blood sugar, and increase the regular pulses of oxygen and nutrients to your brain. Clinician note: even small movement breaks alter circulation and metabolic signals. If you have mobility limits, substitute seated leg pumps, arm raises, or brief seated marches to get muscles contracting and blood moving. 2. Irregular sleep and nightly short sleep, the silent risk multiplier. Imagine someone going to bed at wildly different times every night, grabbing a few hours here and there, or sleeping with the TV on and lights bright. It may feel like you're making up sleep on weekends, or that you function fine on less sleep. But during deep sleep, the brain engages in a kind of cleaning. Metabolic waste products that accumulate during the day are cleared more efficiently. This is often called sleep-dependent clearance, and poor or irregular sleep disrupts that process. Chronic sleep loss and fragmentation are linked to increased amyloid and tau accumulation in experimental studies and to worse cognitive performance in people. Why it feels fine? Short sleep can feel productive or like a badge of honor. Irregular schedules seem unavoidable with work, family, or late-night screen time. Napping can make people feel temporarily refreshed, reinforcing irregular nights. What to do instead? Normalize sleep timing and ramp down the sleep environment. For 1 week, pick a consistent bedtime and wake time that gives you roughly 7 hours and stick to it, yes, even on the weekends. 90 minutes before bed, dim lights, stop screens, or use amber light filters, and create a short wind-down ritual. Gentle stretching, reading a physical book, or a relaxation practice. Keep the sleeping environment cool and dark. Even small improvements in light exposure and routine help the brain's nightly clearing. If you're a shift worker or have severe sleep disturbance, note that strategies may need tailoring. Flag this for discussion with your clinician. 3. Ignoring cardiovascular and metabolic risk, the invisible wear and tear. Consider the person who thinks blood pressure, cholesterol, or blood sugar are not my problem because they feel fine. Many vascular and metabolic problems are silent for years. High blood pressure damages small blood vessels in the brain, reducing oxygen delivery and causing tiny injuries. Insulin resistance and poorly controlled glucose create inflammatory signals and metabolic stress that harm neurons and synapses. Over decades, these silent processes accumulate and reduce the brain's ability to withstand age-related change. Why it feels fine? There's no immediate pain or obvious symptom. Weight, energy, and mood may not change noticeably in the early stages. People often choose convenience foods, skip routine checks, or avoid lifestyle changes because immediate rewards, tasty food, ease, busy schedules, outweigh distant risks. What to do instead? Put basic monitoring and simple habits in place.
For a week, make one meal swap each day. Choose whole foods over processed snacks, prioritize vegetables and lean proteins, and limit sugary drinks. Add a 20-minute walk after at least 2 meals this week to improve glucose handling. Schedule a check-in with your primary care provider to review blood pressure and, if appropriate, glucose and cholesterol. If you already have diagnosed conditions, work with your clinician on management. Lifestyle steps are complementary to medical care. The core idea, consistent attention to vascular and metabolic health, pays off for the brain. 4. Shrinking your social world and skimping on mental challenge, the slow erosion of cognitive reserve. Visualize a retired person who used to volunteer, play a musical instrument, or participate in clubs, but now spends days alone, watching passive entertainment. Social engagement, new learning, and mentally demanding activities build cognitive reserve, a kind of buffer that helps the brain cope with age-related changes. When you stop challenging your brain, synaptic networks become less robust. You use fewer neural pathways, and resilience declines. Social isolation also raises stress and inflammation, which further harms brain health. Why it feels fine? Staying at home can feel safe, low effort, and comfortable. Anxiety about new situations, transportation issues, mobility problems, or perceived lack of skills can make social activities seem daunting. Passive leisure fills time and gives some pleasure without the effort of trying something new. What to do instead? Pick one low-barrier social or cognitive activity to try this week. It could be a short online class on a topic you've never explored, a community center conversation group, a casual game night with friends, or a 2-hour volunteer shift. The goal is novelty, challenge, and connection. If mobility or access is an issue, try a weekly phone call with a friend, an audiobook club, or a language app that nudges your brain in new ways. Even short sessions of learning or socializing 3 times a week strengthen networks and mood. 5. Ignoring hearing and vision problems and letting chronic stress run unchecked. Think of a person who avoids getting hearing aids because of stigma or delay in getting glasses because they're expensive. Sensory deficits force the brain to work harder to extract information. When hearing is impaired, the brain allocates more resources to interpreting sound, leaving fewer resources for memory and comprehension. This persistent extra workload increases cognitive load and social withdrawal. Meanwhile, chronic stress, whether from caregiving, financial strain, or long-term worry, floods the brain with stress hormones that impair memory circuits and promote inflammation. Why it feels fine? Small hearing loss or blurry vision feels like age-related and manageable. Stress can become normalized. People assume it's just part of life.
Both issues often don't trigger alarm until they cause more overt problems. What to do instead? Address sensory needs and manage stress. For the next week, book an appointment or at least a screening online. If you can't get immediate care, try simple fixes. Ensure your home lighting is bright and even. Increase font sizes on devices, and use subtitles on videos to reduce listening strain. For stress, practice a short daily regulation tool, 2 minutes of diaphragmatic breathing, a 5-minute walk, or a brief gratitude reflection at night. If caregiving is the source of chronic stress, seek local support groups or respite resources. Treating hearing or vision and reducing daily stress lowers cognitive load and protects social engagement. Why these habits feel helpful or harmless? Across these 5 items, there's a common thread: immediate feedback and convenience. Sitting helps you finish a task. Short sleep often feels like a badge of productivity. Skipping checks feels like saving time. Passive entertainment relieves boredom. Avoiding hearing aids avoids stigma and cost. Those immediate rewards make the behavior sticky. But brain health is like compound interest in reverse. Small harms accumulate slowly. The earlier you switch to healthier routines, the more you alter that long-term balance. Practical week-by-week starter plan. You don't need to change everything at once. Here's a practical 7-day starter you can try right now. Day 1 through 7, every 45 to 50 minutes of sitting, stand or walk for 3 to 5 minutes. Commit to one 20 to 30-minute walk on at least 4 of those days. Day 1 through 7, set a consistent bedtime and wake time that yields about 7 hours. Start a 90-minute wind-down routine before bed. Day 1 through 7, make one deliberate meal swap each day. More vegetables, fewer processed snacks. Add a post-meal 20-minute walk after at least 2 meals. Day 1 through 7, try one new social or cognitive activity for at least 30 minutes, 3 times in the week. Day 1, book or schedule a hearing or vision screening, or at least do home adjustments, lighting, font size, subtitles. Begin a 2-minute daily stress regulation practice. Mid-video note if you want guided help. If you'd like a guided plan that organizes these steps into a sustainable routine, we created a structured playlist, an optional program that walks you through assessment, action, and maintenance. It's a 3-phase approach. Phase 1 helps you assess your baseline and set small goals. Phase 2 gives daily habits and short routines to implement those changes. And Phase 3 focuses on maintenance and building community accountability. The program includes weekly live Q&A sessions and a private group where members swap tips and troubleshoot real-life barriers. This is an educational, supportive resource, not a guaranteed prevention package, but many find the accountability and gradual plan helpful to make changes stick.
Check the program link in the description if you want to explore it. It's optional and designed to complement your medical care. A few clinician caveats. None of these changes promise to prevent Alzheimer's. They reduce risk factors and improve brain resilience. Alzheimer's is multifactorial. No single action is a magic bullet. If you have existing medical conditions, use this advice as general guidance and coordinate changes with your healthcare provider. For example, if you have mobility limits, tailor movement to your ability. If you have sleep disorders, seek clinician evaluation. If you experience sudden changes in memory or thinking, seek medical evaluation. Gradual lifestyle changes are for risk reduction and resilience, not diagnosis. Quick recap: what to stop and what to start. Stop long, uninterrupted sitting. Start frequent movement breaks and daily walks. Stop irregular short sleep. Start a consistent schedule and a wind-down routine. Stop ignoring vascular and metabolic health. Start food swaps, regular walks, and basic screening. Stop shrinking your social and mental life. Start low-barrier learning and social activities. Stop delaying hearing and vision care and tolerating chronic stress. Start screenings, environmental fixes, and short stress regulation practices. Final thought and call to action. Small changes compound. A daily 5-minute walk, a reliable bedtime, or a weekly social class won't solve everything overnight, but they shift your brain's environment in measurable ways. If you're willing to try one change this week, pick the one that feels easiest and commit to it for 7 days. Your brain responds to patterns. Consistency matters more than perfection. If you want the step-by-step playlists and the 3-phase plan I mentioned, check the Brain Health playlist and optional program linked below. If this message helped, subscribe so you don't miss the weekly practical guides. Start small today. Your brain will thank you later.